Imagine, which means to stand. Or watch, present yourself.
Awawadia, Bun Gad, Bun Yasha'Allah.
Awawadia, Bun Gad, Bun Yasha'Allah.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Barakatham.
La Yasha'Allah.
Get the brother a hand. Amaju, which means to stand. Wakunya Hakudam, which means turn and face the east. I'm going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew first. Repeat after me. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazai, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazai, Kowa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Shethalanau, Lakam, Kab, Yawam, Wasalak now, Kabawath now, Kasalak now, Kabawathi now, Wala'ah, Kabayai now. Manasai one. Above. Outside now. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Waha'ala. Waha'ala. I will love you. Amen. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. Amen. So be it. We're going to do the power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Babakusha, Nathalanau, Hakak, Laba'ah, Kamakala, Kamadawah, Natahal, Hamatazariah, Hakak, Lahakwiah, Hamathia, Hakak, Arukawa, Tama'ala, Lagarshan, Bahashem, Yahushua, the water Aman. In English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. We will do Psalms 121. Ayanya, Al-Hahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Izari, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Rugal, Al-Yanawam, Shamar, it's like Hana,
Hana,
La'a,
La'a,
Yalawam,
Yalawam,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Shawamar,
Shawamar,
Yasha'al,
Yasha'al,
Yahau,
Yahau,
Shamar,
Samarka,
Yahau,
Yahau,
Tazal,
Tazaka,
Al-Yad,
Al-Yad,
Yamyaka,
Yamyaka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashemash,
Hashemash,
La'a,
La'a,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayara,
Wayara,
Balayala,
Balayala,
Yahau,
Yahau,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Makara,
Makara,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
After
Abdulbashka,
Yahau,
Yahau,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'afka,
Taza'afka,
Wawa'afka,
Wawa'afka,
Ma'itha,
Ma'itha,
I-Awalam,
I-Awalam,
Aman.
Aman.
And in English, I will lift up my eyes
I will lift up my eyes
unto the hills.
unto the hills.
From whence comes my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help coming from your house.
My help coming from your house,
Which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will keepeth thee.
He will keep thee.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
Nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
and thy coming in
From this time forth.
from this time forth
And even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. We're going to do Psalms 83.
When the prayer's going on, everybody get the Most High your undivided attention.
Go.
Don't talk, don't do nothing. Give it to the Most High.
We're going to do Psalms 83. Alahaya.
Alahaya.
Al-Damaya Laka.
Al-Damaya Laka.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Tashakwat.
Al-Tashakwat.
Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayabika.
Awayabika.
Yahamu Yawan.
Yahamu Yawan.
Wamashanayaka.
Wamashanayaka.
Nasha'au.
Nasha'au.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al-Imaka.
Al-Imaka.
Ya'arayamwa.
Ya'arayamwa.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayataya Aitazawa.
Wayataya Aitazawa.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Amaru.
Amaru.
Lakawa.
Makawa.
Wanakakida.
Wanakakida.
Magalia.
Magalia.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazakal.
Yazakal.
Shem Yasha'al.
Shem Yasha'al.
Iwad.
Iwad.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa Aitazawa.
Nawa Aitazawa.
La.
La.
Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Alyaka.
Alyaka.
Barya.
Barya.
Yakarathwa.
Yakarathwa.
Ahalia.
Ahalia.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wa Yashma Alia.
Wamasha'alia.
Mawa Abba.
Mawa Abba.
Wahagaria.
Wahagaria.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Wa Imawan.
Wa Imawan.
Wa Imalak.
Wa Imalak.
Kalashat.
Kalashat.
I'm Yashabia.
I'm Yashabia.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gum Ashawar.
Gum Ashawar.
Nalawad.
Nalawad.
Amam.
Amam.
Hayawad.
Hayawad.
Zarawad.
Zarawad.
Labanya Lawat.
Labanya Lawat.
Salat.
Salat.
Aisha Laham.
Aisha Laham.
Kamatya.
Kamatya.
Kasai Saraha.
Kasai Saraha.
Kayabya.
Kayabya.
Banakal.
Banakal.
Koyashwan.
Koyashwan.
Nashamadwa.
Nashamadwa.
Ayanda Ara.
Maya Ara.
Hayawad.
Hayawad.
Daman.
Daman.
La Adama.
La Adama.
Sayatambwa.
Sayatambwa.
Nalayamoa.
Nalayamoa.
Ka'ara.
Ka'ara.
Wakaza Abba.
Wakaza Abba.
Wakazabak.
Wakazabak.
Wakatazamana.
Wakatazamana.
Ka.
Ka.
Nasayakamwa.
Nasayakamwa.
Bashar.
Bashar.
Amaru.
Amaru.
Nayarasha.
Nayarasha.
Nanawat.
Nanawat.
Ah. Naawat.
Naawat.
Alahaya.
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 Sayatambwa.
Sayatambwa.
Kagala. Lakwash.
Kakwash.
Lapanya Raka.
Lapanya Raka.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Kaba Iri Iri.
Kaba Iri Iri.
Lakat. Wakat Lahaba.
Wakalaba.
Dalahat.
Dalahat.
Haryam.
Haryam.
Khan.
Khan.
Dawadatma.
Dawadatma.
Masa Irika.
Masa Irika.
Wabasa Wapathka.
Wabasa Wapathka.
Tabahalam.
Tabahalam.
Mala'at.
Mala'at.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Kwalawan.
Kwalawan.
Wayabakwashwa.
Wayabakwashwa.
Shimkat.
Shimkat.
Yahau.
Yahau.
Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Wayabahawa.
Wayabahawa.
Ayai.
Ayai.
Wayakapawa.
Wayakapawa.
Wayabadwa.
Wayabadwa.
Wayadaiwa.
Wayadaiwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Atha.
Atha.
Shimkat.
Shimkat.
Yahau.
Yahau.
Labaka.
Labaka.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Kab.
Al-Kab.
Al-Ratza.
Al-Ratza.
Aman.
Aman.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
thy
thy enemies make a tumult.
My enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee.
Have lifted up the head.
Have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel.
Against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said.
They have said.
Come.
Come.
And let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
that the name of Israel
may
be no more remembered.
be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. Of Moab. And the Hagarene. Gabal and Ammon. And Amalek. The Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as to the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb. And like Zeeb. Yea. All their princes as Zabah and Zamuna. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power. Make them like a wheel. As a stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth a wood. And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them. With thy tempest. And make them afraid. With thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Yahweh. Let them be confounded. And trouble forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know. That whose name alone. That men may know. That thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh. Art the most high. Over all the earth. So be it.
We do the blessings. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Alahai. Matazab Yah. Alawak Yahanna. Ha-Alawapia. Ha-Saranya. Ha-Kwatazayanya. Ha-Kaya-Yoya. Wa-Ha-Wakia. Yahweh. Bahashem. Yahweh Shai. The water Aman.
Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angels. Commander General Yahanna. The general. The captain. The officers. The troopers. And assistants. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it.
Saw, which means to turn. Yeshua, which means to sit. Up here, Yeshua, which means to sit. Yeah, 2 Samuel, chapter 11, verse 27 and 12.
It's 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 27 through 12, 1 through 6. Kind of
27 is the last verse.
the last verse of the chapter.
I got what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, so 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 27. You'll read it in Hebrew first. Go ahead, man. You ready? Nah, right.
While your eye, Iowa, Ha'avolah, Abo. La Yash.
You gotta bring it close to your face, good. Depending on inside or outside.
La Yashala. Dawada. Y-A-H-U-P-K. Y-A-Thawa.
Yeah, you got it.
Y-A-Thalia. Lawa. La Asha. Wathalada. Wathalada. Lawa. Ban. Wayara. Hadava. Asha. Asha. Dawada. Bayanya. Yahweh. Wayashalat. Yahweh. Wathan. Dawada. Wayabaha. Alyawa. Wayama. Lawa. Sha'anya. Anashayan. Wayawa. Waya. Akkad. Ashaya. Wa'aka'at. Rayash. Layashia. Laishaya. Hayan. Taza'an. Wabakra. Haraba. Ma'ada. Walarash. Ayan. Kab. Kaya. Ayn. Kabasha. Akar. Quatana. Asha. Kuna. Wayakaya. Wathagada. Aimawa. Wa'ain. Banyawa. Yakadwa. Mapakwa. Ta'aka. Wamakas. Wamakat. Wamakaswa. The Shai. The Shata. Wabakaya Kwa. The Chakra. The Chakra. Waithaya. Waithaya. Lawa. Kaba. Wayaba. Hala. La Ayash. Ashaya. Wayakmala. La Kwaka. Matasa Iowa. Wabakarawa. La Aishawa. La Ara. Aba'a. La Lawyer. Wyatt. Wayakwa. Wayakwa, Kabash, Kabasha, Waayash, Haraash, Wayaashai, Salaki, Wayashaiah, Laayash, Waba'a, Aliyawa, Wayaka, Pa, Dawada, Bahayash, Ma'ada, wait, Salaki, Wa'ayama, Al, Nathan,
Kaya.
Kaya, Yahweh, Kaya, Ban, Kaya, Ban, Mawata, Hayaash, Ha'ayash, Ha'aisha, Za'af, Wa'af, Hakabashah, Yashalam, Araba, I Dayim, Ikuba, Asha, Af, Hadaba, Hazan, Wa'ab, Asha, La'af, Kamal, Wayama, Nathan, Al, Dawada, Atah, Hayash, Ka'ayha, Amal, Yahawan,
You want this verse 6? Yeah, that's it. So, reading the English. 2 Samuel. We're going to read in the English. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 27. We're going to go to chapter 12, to verse 1 and 6.
2 Samuel, chapter 11, verse 27. And when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord.
So where we at right now is where we left off from last week. David had just sent Uriah, the brother whose rib was Bathsheba, and right. David lusted after Bathsheba, and he lay with her and got her pregnant. So right. David's plot was to get Uriah to sleep with his rib, so Uriah could think David's child he had what it was his. Right. Of course, this brother, he had outstanding brotherhood and love for his brothers, so he didn't lay with his rib. So what David did now to cover his tracks, he sent Uriah to the front lines, and he was killed when they went to battle against the Ammonites. Right. You understand? And so David, and I was saying here, David fetched her to his house, and she became his wife and bare him a son. You know what I'm saying? But this thing displeased the Lord. The Lord was against this, of course, because this is adultery. You understand? And we see this all in the Christian church. What David did right here, this is like common in the Christian church. The pastor sleeping with everybody's wives, right. Women having kids with men that, you know what I'm saying, that's not his kids. And this right here is black people's lives today. You understand? That's how you know this is our book. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in one city.
Now Nathan is a prophet, and the Lord is sending his prophet to speak to David. So right here, Nathan is going to put about to David a scenario, and this scenario is real heavy. Keep reading.
The one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him, and with his children it did eat of his own meat.
So you're looking at the scenario. He had 2 men, a rich man, the poor man. You understand? And the poor man had nothing. The rich man had a bunch of sheep, exceeding flocks. You know, so he's a rich man, so he can have a lot of oxen and a lot of sheep. Right. The poor man only had 1 small lamb. He had nothing but this little small lamb. Right? Keep reading. Who he raised up and nourished.
And drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter.
So meaning this poor man loved this lamb so much, it was as a daughter unto this man. You know what I'm saying? This is all he had. Keep reading.
Verse 4. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own tent, of his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him.
What does it mean when it says to dress the lamb? What does that mean?
To kill the lamb and to shed it, skin it, gut it and butcher it up, and butcher it into edible pieces.
To do what?
Pieces. To present a feast.
To dress it up. A lot of people say that today. You know what I'm saying? Make sure dress up the plate real good. Make it look good. That's black people. Dress it up real nice. Right. That's what's happening right here. This man took, instead of giving from his own flock to this traveling man, this rich man took the 1 little sheep from the poor man to kill and feed for this traveling man, instead of taking from his own flock. Right. And this is important because who remembers what David did before he became king?
He was a shepherd.
He was just a sheep herder, a shepherd.
Right.
So right here, this analogy is speaking to David in particular because he can relate. You understand? He was the one that was caring for the sheep.
Right.
Keep reading.
Okay. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man.
And this is why David hearing it, and he angry. Like, how can he do that? Take this one man's only lamb. Keep reading.
Okay. And he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that have done this thing shall surely die.
And this is a heavy right here. Every time I read this, it reminds me not to be a hypocrite. Right. Because whenever we hear about something somebody else did, it's easy for us to think of the punishment like, oh, he deserved this. This got to happen to him. This is wrong. The thing that we don't tell ourselves, you are that man. When you see a brother do something, or you see a sister do something, and you want to render judgment or what you think they should deserve, the scripture says, look at the mote in your eye. While you look at the speck in their eye, look at the mote in your eye. You understand? And this precept is right here. Every time I read this, it cuts David when he said, David was angry. He said, this man should be put to death. Whoever took this lamb, kill him. He got to be put to death. That's unacceptable. Keep reading.
It's like it. And also just with, anything, if you, got more than a brother, and you see one brother is less fortunate, but, you know what I'm saying, he has that, like you a king, and you can have many ribs. He, a brother that has that 1 rib or whatever, she's beautiful, let him have it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The same thing, like if a brother in here, he's a young officer, he's a trooper officer, he has a job, you know what I'm saying? Don't take his job, let him do that job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let the young man shine, let him work in his department, and let him do that work. Don't take his department from him unless he needs supervision or unless he needs help, or he cannot do that. He cannot do the work.
Right.
So then you choose somebody else, or you pick it up for him.
Right.
But if he's doing good with that work in that department, you know what I'm saying? Let him work and let him shine.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Allow the young men do that thing and get it on.
Right. Oh God.
And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity.
Keep it. That's it. Most High Christ. Up here, Amaju, which means to stand. Kagar mouth, present yourself.
God, Mark, on your house.
That's like Sabbath. No,
Kagar, Mark, on your house, upon your shala.
Kagar mouth, banya out, banya SHALAM.
Yahweh Shemel Shah Brakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah. Up here, Yeshavium, which means to sit. Now we're going to read 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 7 to 13 in the Hebrew first.
In the Hebrew, 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 7. Waya Amar, Nathan, Al, Dawada, Atha, Hayash, Kaya, Amar, Yahweh, Allah, Yasha'ala, Anayaka, Salaki, Anakia, Mashak, Tayak, Lamalak, Al, Yasha'ala, Wana Akaya, Hataza Ayar, Maya, Sha'awal, verse 8. Wa'atana, Laka, Baya, Aldanayak, Wa'af, Nashaya, Aldanayak, Bakaya, Kak, Wa'atanaya, Laka, Atha, Baya, Yasha'ala, Waya ha wada wa ma'aita wa shapa laka kahana'a wa kana verse 9. Madawai bazayah dabar wayawa La I.S.U.P.K, Hara I Noah, I would Hata Thaya, Hakaya, Bathkara, Wa'af, Ashatawa, Lagwa Ka, Laka, La Asha'a, Wa'athawa, Haragah, Bakar Abra, Benaiah, Imawan, verse 10. Wa'aitha, La'ah, the Shawar. Sorry, that's it.
CH.
Oh, okay. Ka'ara, Maba Watak, I Walam, Iquaba, Kaya, Bazathanaya, Watakak, Asha, Ira, Awa Raya, Hakataya, Laha Yawaf, Laka, La Asha'a, verse 11. Ka'a, Amar, Yahweh, Hanaya, Makwa Yam, Aliyaka, Ra'aitha, Mabata Yatsaki, Maba Yatak, Walaka Kataya, Nashik Yak, La Nayak, Wanataya, Lara Ayak, Washa Kaba, Ain, Nashiyak, La'ainia, Hashamash, Haza'ah, verse 12. Kaya, Atha, Ashiyah, Basatara, Wa'anaya, Aisha, Hadabar, Haza'ah, Nakat, Nagata, Kal, Yasha'ala, Wanagada, Hashamash, verse 13. Waya Amar, Dawada, Al, Nathan, Halta Athaya, Laya Awa, Waya Amar, Nathan, Al, Dawada, Gam, Yahweh, Ha'abaya, Ka'ata, Ka'ata, Al, Dama Awa. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 14.
That's it. The Most High Christ. And we're going to read it in the English.
2 Samuel chapter 12 in the English, verse 7. And Nathan said to David, Thou art the man.
Hold on. Read it again.
Sorry. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 7. And Nathan said to David, Thou art the man.
Now, this is heavy right here. So Nathan just gave this whole scenario about the rich man and the poor man and what this rich man did, how he trespassed against this poor man. And this is the wisdom of this prophet. Nathan didn't use David's situation. He used this analogy. You understand? And so David is thinking like, yeah, whoever the man that trespassed him, he needs to be punished. He be put to death. He's got to pay it back fourfold. And then after the situation, Nathan is like, well, thou art the man. That's you.
Right.
The situation I just gave you, what this rich man did to the poor man, you are the rich man in this scenario. Right. You understand? You trespassed against this poor brother. This brother had one rib. Right. You understand? Right. He had one rib. When you the king, you could have as many ribs as you want. And the Lord gonna say that right here. And you're gonna take his one. Go ahead, keep reading.
Thus said the Lord God of Israel, I anointed the king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. Verse 8, and I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives unto thy bosom.
Sidebar, this is a cut for a lot of Christians, fake Israelites that believes you cannot have multiple ribs, more than one woman. It's right here in the scriptures. And the Lord is even saying it. You understand? The Lord is saying, I would have gave you more wives. You know what I'm saying? I gave you wives. And the Lord going to say, I would have gave you more wives if that's what you desire. Keep reading.
And gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if thou had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things.
Right. The Lord is saying, listen, you the king. If you would have wanted these, I delivered you out of Saul. Saul was trying to kill you. You understand? I delivered you out of Saul's hands. I gave you his house, his possessions. I gave you wives. And if you would have wanted more, I would have gave it to you. You understand? The Lord is a father. If Christians that can't understand that, the Lord is a father. You know, this is something that you tell your kids. It's like you going out stealing candy. You know what I'm saying? If you would have did what I told you to do, just ask me, I would have bought you candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 9. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandments of the Lord to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon.
Right. If you don't remember, David sent the order to Joab, the general of the army, to put Uriah in the front lines when they were fighting the Ammonites, who will be the so-called Japanese people today. And because of that, Uriah was killed. You understand? Which was the plan that David had from John. He knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? And it was wicked in the Lord's sight, man.
Right.
Keep reading.
Verse 10. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house.
The scripture says, therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house. And when we read further on, we'll read about a lot of the heinous things that happened within David's own house, within his family. You understand? We'll read about it later. But this is now the Lord rendering judgment. This is part of his judgment he's rendering to David. Right. You understand? Because of his sin, which is real important for us to understand. A lot of times, the sins that we commit may not affect us directly. You can sin and you can cause your children and your grandchildren, and in this case, the whole family of David, all the way down to this day, you understand, to suffer. You understand? So it's like when you sin, keep that in mind. You're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting your brothers, especially in here. You make a mistake or sin against the Lord can punish your brothers or the men that's underneath you. You know, so that's underneath your command. Because you know what I'm saying. So that's something we got to always keep in mind. Like you're not in this by yourself. There's people that you can affect their lives based off your decisions, man. And that's what happened. The Lord said the sword will never depart from David's house. And we're gonna read about a lot of things that happened to David. Keep reading and his family.
Because thou hast despised me and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Verse 11. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thy own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them to thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this son. Verse 12. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun.
That's another part of the punishment. The Lord is saying, I'm going to take your wives and give them to somebody else. Meaning somebody's going to do to you what you did to his brother.
Right.
But not only did you did it in secret, like you did it on a sneak tip. You took his brother's wife on the low. Nobody knows you sent Uriah out to be killed to get his woman.
Right.
What the Lord said, I'm going to let everybody know your wife got took. Somebody took your wife. You know what I'm saying? Which, if you understand, brothers and Israelites still to this day, it's still a shameful thing to know. You know what I'm saying? Somebody took your woman. She's a whore, but it's still shameful. It's like, I took your brother. Well, Tupac saying this, so that's why, that's why I F.J.B. You know what I'm saying? It's always been like, that's a diss. That's shameful.
It's always been to humiliate somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Come on, the water, sir. Keep reading.
Verse 13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also have put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die.
Now the Lord is saying he had put away his sin, meaning this is the punishment that the Lord has given to David. He said, David shall not die for this sin. And a lot of people, fake Israelites, be like, well, how come David, he committed adultery? And the law says he got to be killed. Listen, the Lord can decide whatever he wants to do, man.
Right.
That's something you Christians got to get to your head. That's why you eat pork and do whatever the hell you want to do, because you can't understand the Lord is the only one who does what he wants.
And some locking too. David was after the man. David was after a man after the Lord's heart. But also David. That doesn't mean David was not good enough to be punished.
Right.
Like if you go back to the scripture, you will read when David did that. When he first took Uriah's rib, like 6 scriptures after that says, and the Lord was displeased. Right. Like the Lord didn't like it. And right now, what's going on right now? He's being punished right now. Right. So because David is a man of the Lord, a man of the Lord, but it's like a man behind the Lord's heart. It don't mean he's not going to be punished. Right. You get what I'm saying? He's being punished right now.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 4.
That's it.
It's the Most High Christ. Up here only, Amaju, which means to stand. Barak, present yourself.
Barak ban Yahweh ban Yahweh.
Barak ban Yahweh ban Yahweh.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Brakatham.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Brakatham. Up here only, Yeshabian, which means to sit. We're going to read 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 14 to 20 in the Hebrew first.
So like 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 14. Adas Kaya, Naataza, Naathaza, Af, Ayabaya, Yahweh, Badabal, Haza'a, Haban, Hayalawad, Laka, Mawath, Yamawath, verse 15, Wayalak, Nathan, Al, Bayathawa, Bayathwa, Wayagap, Yahweh, Hayalad, Ashar, Yalada, Ashar, Awatha, a warrior, Ladawada, Waya Anash, verse 16, Waya Bakwash, Dawada, Ha'alahayim, Ba'ai, Wana Ira, Waya Tazama, Dawada, Tazawam, Waba'a, Walana, Washakar, Aratha, Arath Za'a, verse 17, Waya Kamwa, Zakanya, Bayathwa, Alyawa, Yahat, Lahakim, Mawa, Ha'ar, Ratazar, Wala'a, Abba, Wala'a, Bara'a, Atham, Lakam, verse 18, Waya, Haya, Bayawam, Hashab, Yaya, Salaki, Waya Math, Hayala, Wayar, Awa, Abadia, Dabada, Laha, Gaya, Lawa, Kaya, Matha, Hayalad, Kaya, Amawa, Hana, Baba Yawath, Hayalad, Kaya, Debal, Nawa, Al Yawa, Wala'a, Shemai, Bakar, Wallan, Wayak, Na'amar, Alayawa, Matha, Hayalad, Wa'aisha'a, Ra'aiha, verse 19, Wayarba'a, Dabada, Kaya, Abad Yawa, Matha, Lak, Shayam, Wayaban, Dabada, Kaya, Matha, Hayalad, Waya Amar, Dabada, Al, Abad Yawa, Hamatha, Hayalad, Waya Amar, Matha, verse 20, Wayakma, Dabada, Waha, Arataza, Salagi, Wa'aradaza, Rayak, Taza, Wayasak, Wayak, Lapa, Shema, Lathawa, Wayak, Yaba'a, Baya, Yahweh, Wayash, Thakawa, Waya, Abba, Bayathwa, Wayash, Wayash, Yumwa, Lawa, Lakam, Waya, Akar. That's it.
Both sides of Christ. We're going to read it in English. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 14 to 20.
The book of 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 14. Howbeit, because this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme.
Stop right there. This is important too. This is so important that this account right here in 2 Samuel is a heavy account because it has many different elements to it to help us understand just life, period. What is this saying? Can anybody break down what it's saying? Read it again.
Verse 14. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme.
What is it saying? Go ahead, question.
It's saying that because of what you did, you're putting you're giving me a bad name. You're letting your enemies and my enemies say I ain't quiet.
In what way?
What you did.
Break it down. How can the enemies say the Lord doesn't have a good reputation? Like how can this cause the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme against him?
It's like, sir, I mean, because the enemies know that David is a prophet of the Most High.
the enemies don't know about David sleeping with Uriah's wife. Nobody knows this except Joab, who was given the order. But it don't really even say Joab knew. Joab knows he sent Uriah to the front line. What this is saying is when David had Uriah sent to the front line and he died in battle against the Ammonites, now the Ammonites believe that their God is more powerful than the God of Israel because they were able to kill one of the Lord's children. And not only that, Uriah wasn't the only one that died. I believe it was 8 other men that died when Uriah was killed. This is another thing. The Lord doesn't suffer losses. Like, to lose is to say that the Lord is not strong, not powerful. David allowed, like the scripture said, he gave occasion for these filthy heathens, these Ammonites, to really believe they are special. Their God means something. Go ahead, sis.
What is blasphemy?
If I may, blasphemy is to speak against the Holy Spirit. So to say anything that's not true about the Holy Spirit, like, I'll give you a perfect example. When we go out on those street corners and we get a boot kiss, a lot of people go online. Also come here and hand. If you don't know, that's right. If you don't know, there's a trending boot kiss right now that we got in DC that the Most High used also to come here to get, and it's going viral. And if you go read the comments, you will see people going on saying they paid him. They paid him to do that. They forced him to do it. Everybody has a reason to say why this happened, and they don't understand. They're blaspheming against the Holy Spirit because the Lord is the one who put the Spirit to make that happen. Like, these things don't happen on our own will. So when you say, like, oh, that's Satan doing that, or they paid him to do that, you're blaspheming against the Most High, against the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what blasphemy is to speak against the Lord.
It's crazy. It's like they said that's all the Edomites saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys gave him you guys gave him a bottle of wine.
Yeah, cuz.
Oh, you guys paid him to kiss your boots. Like,
Right.
you don't pay nobody to kiss our boots.
Right. They blaspheme against the power of the Lord. And what they don't understand is they can't believe that these people who are on the lowest in this society can be bowed down to. Which should tell them, it's so far-fetched to them that it has to be some other explanation. Like, it can't be the power of God. It has to be they paid him. They gave him a bottle of wine when they don't understand. That's how mighty the power of the Lord is. That's what you're watching. So, like, keep reading.
Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
Now, this is the final wrap-up of the punishment the Lord has given to David for his trespass against Uriah. And he's saying the child that you have with Bathsheba, this child is going to die. You understand?
Right.
Which is a sad thing for any black parent when you find out. Even though this child was conceived in sin, it's still a child. You understand? The child is an innocent party in this case. But that's the punishment. You understand? The child is going to die. Keep reading.
Verse 15. And Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. Verse 16. David therefore besought God for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. Verse 17. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them.
David is like, you can imagine any good parent, when you find out your child is like, just imagine you find your child got leukemia or cancer, just real sick, and you know they're going to die. It does something to you. A lot of parents, they go through that. They don't eat. You know what I'm saying? I seen it a lot when my stepmother, when her son was killed, my older stepbrother, when he was killed, she wasn't eating for like a minute. Like, people had to force her to eat. She didn't want to do nothing. She just wanted to lay down and, just not do nothing. That's the grief that we experience in the black community. And that's the same grief that David is experiencing right now.
Right.
Yeah, the water.
Verse 18. And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead?
Meaning his servants were scared to tell David the child was dead because
when the child was alive, David wasn't even listening to him. Like the servant trying to slack yourself. You have to eat, sir. Slack yourself. You have to, you have to get this done, sir. You know what I'm saying? David wasn't already listening to him. He was already starving himself, fasting. You know what I'm saying? While the child was alive, so they thinking like, yo, he gonna really just lose it if we tell him. You understand?
Right.
Keep reading.
Verse 19. But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Verse 20. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he came to his own house. And when he required, they set bread up before him and he did eat.
Right. So what happened here is, if you know anything about depression, one of the first things that goes are hygiene. So David, he wasn't, it don't say that, but you know what I'm saying, after the child died, David washed himself, got anointed, and went back to eating and stuff like that. And we'll find out in the next verse why. That's it. Like that. Here only Amaju, which means to stand. I will watch you present yourself.
I will water your bun gad, bun YAHANNA.
I will water your bun gad, bun YAHANNA.
Yeah. YAHANNA Yahweh rock a thumb.
YAHANNA Yahweh rock a thumb.
Up here only, Yashabu, which means to sit. Last verse. So we're gonna be at 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 21 to 27. We're gonna read in the Hebrew first. Waya Amarwa, Ibadyawa, Alyawa, Maha, Hadabar, Hazah, Ashar, Aishayatha, Ba'ibawar, Hayalad, Kaya, Tazamath, Wathabak, Waka Ashar, Matha, Wayalad, Komath, Wayatha Akal, Lakam, verse 22, Waya Amar, Ba'awad, Hayalad, Kaya, Tazamathia, Wa'a, Baka, Kaya, Amarathia, Maya, Yawadad, Yakannaya, Yahweh, Wakaya, Wayalad, verse 23, Wa'atha, Matha, Lama, Zaha, Anaya, Tazamah, Ha'awakal, Laha Shayab Salaki, Laha Yashabya, Wa, Iwad, Anaya, Halak, Alyawa, Wa, Wahawa'a, La'a, Lashawaba, Salaki, Lashawab, Alya, verse 24, Waya Nakam, Dawada, Ath, Bath, Shabai, Ashathwa, Waya Ba'a, Alya, Waya Shabak, Ama, Wathalad, Bun, Wayakra'a, Ath, Shamwa, Shalamha, Waya Hawa, Salaki, Waya Hawa, Ahabawa, verse 25, Waya Shalak, Bayad, Nathan, Hanabaya'a, Wayakra'a, Ath, Shamwa, Yad Salaki, Yad Yadaya, Ba'ibawar, Yahweh, verse 26, Wayalakam, Yawa'aba, Barabath, Banya, Imawan, Wayalakad, Ath, Ayura, Hamalokah, verse 27. You could have read it before.
Wayashalak, Yahweh, Mala'akim, Al, Dawada, Wa'ayamar, Nalakataya, Barabah, Gam, Lakadathia, Ayah, Hamayam.
Most High Christ. I'm going to read in the English. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 21 to 27.
Second Samuel chapter 12, verse 21. Then said his servants unto him, what thing is this that thou hast done? Thou did fast and weep for the child, while it was after. But when the child was... Then said his servants unto him, what thing is this that thou hast done? Thou did fast and weep for the child, while it was alive. But when the child was dead, thou did rise and eat bread.
So the servants are confused. They anticipated David being more distraught when the child died, because they was like, well, when the child was alive and sick, David was fasting and he eat, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to do nothing. So he's like, they confused. Like, David found out the child died, and David, well, I guess I got to get up and, get back to life now. You know what I'm saying? Which is the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying don't grieve and don't mourn, but like Jeremiah said, there's a time for everything. You know what I'm saying? Don't let this stop. Don't let this stop you from living, man. Like, keep living. You have to keep living. You know what I'm saying? Things got to continue to get done. If you don't believe me, them bills still got to be paid. You know what I'm saying? The lights don't care if somebody died. Yeah, I hear you. Do you have the money on the first? You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening right here. David got back to getting things done, got back to eating and everything. The servants didn't understand that. Keep reading.
Come. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, who can tell whether God will be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me.
Right. David he being logical here. You know what I'm saying? Like, when the child gone. You know what I'm saying? It sounds cold, but that's just the child is gone. I was fasting, praying that the Lord can be gracious to me. The Lord rendered his judgment, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? So now let's move forward. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we all should do whenever we get punishment or judgment or go through anything. Like Job did. Just repent. You know what I'm saying? I understand you deserve it. Take your punishment, take your checkings. You know what I'm saying? Take whatever happens to you that, you deserve, and keep it pushing and keep fighting.
Come on, if I could, sir. And it's heavy because the Most High could have taken the child, just like that. Mm-hmm. But he made the child suffer because of what the father did.
I wouldn't say he made him suffer, but it's just, that's the way the Lord chose for him to go out. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say he made him suffer for that purpose, because it don't say that. You know what I'm saying? But he did fulfill what he told him he was going to do, which was the child is going to die. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's the way the Lord chose for it to happen. You know what I'm saying? Right. Go ahead, keep reading. Oh, sure.
Verse 24. And David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son. And he called his name Solomon, and the Lord loved him. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah, because of the Lord. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David, and said, I have fought against Rabbah, and have taken the city of waters.
All right, so where we are right now. So now David and Bathsheba have another child, Solomon, who we all know is later on King Solomon. The scripture said, and the Lord loved Solomon. It was let you know the Lord is a father, man. It ain't nothing like a lot of people get emotional. It's the same spirit and brothers in here. Like when you get certain check-ins, it's not because brothers, whatever brothers emotional and think it's just, this is the punishment, this is the judgment, and there's no hard feelings. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying, brother? Go ahead, drop and give me 50 real quick. And you back up, shalom. All right, let's get back to work. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And the Lord loves Solomon. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And right here, Joab, we just read, Joab went and fought against the children of Ammon, because you got to remember, the Ammonites killed about 8 or 9 of our people, including Uriah.
soldiers. And so now, if you know anything about how we are, we don't suffer losses. You understand? If we lose, we know the Lord is against us. In this case, David is the cause of this, but still the Ammonites think they won. They like, yeah, we did this on our own accord, and they're gonna have to pay for that. So you read right here, Joab is fighting against these Ammonites, and they took over the city. You understand? We're gonna keep reading on the next one. Okay, Imagine. God, mouth, present yourself.
God, mouth, bun Yahweh, bun Yashala.
God, mouth, bun Yahweh, bun Yashala.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatham.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatham. Up here only Yeshabi, which means the sick. So we at 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 28. We're going to read it in the Hebrew first.
In the Hebrew, Watha, Asap, Yathar, Ha'aim, Wakanaya, Al, Ha'awai, Walakada, Dan, Alakada, Anaya, Wanakara'ah, Shemaiah, Ayah, verse 29. Wayasat, Dawada, Kal, Ha'ain, Wayalak, Rabathiah, Wayalakam, Baha, Wayalakada, verse 30. Wayakaka, Atha, Aitha, Ra, Malakama, Ma'a, Ra'ashawa, Wamashakala, Kakar, Zahab, Wa'aban, Wakara'ah, Watha Ayah, Al, Ra'ash, Dawada, Washa Laha, Wakara'ah, Watha, oh no, sorry. Ha'ai Yar, Hawathaza Ya'ah, Haraba'ah, Ma'ad, verse 31. Wa'ah, Haim, Ashar, Waha, Hawataza Ya'ah, Wayasham, Bamagara'ah, Wabakarataza Ya, Haba Raza, Wabama Zara, Habara Za'al, Waha Abarya Yar, Awatham, Bamalak Na, Wakan, Ya'isha, Lakal, Arya, Banya, Imwan, Wayashar, Dawada, Wakal, Hain, Yarashalam, 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 1. Wayahaya, Akaraya, Khan, Wala'ah, Basha Lawam, Ban, Dawada, Lakawath, Yapa, Washamaya, Tamar, Waya Ba'a, Amanawan, Ban, Dawada, verse 2. Waya Tazar, Lahama Nawan, Latakalawath, Ba'abawa, Tamar, Hakatawa, Kaya, Batawa La'a, Haya, Waya Pala'a, Ba'ayanya, Amanawa, La'aisha Wa, Laha, verse 3. Wala Amanawa, Wan, Vine, Washamawa, Yawana, Wayana, Naba, Ban, Shemaya, Akaya, Dawada, Waya Wan Slaki, Waya Wan Naba, Ayash, Kakam, Ma'at.
Most High Christ. Now we're going to read it in the English. It's 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 28.
Verse 28. Okay, come, gotcha. Now therefore, gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it.
So now they're taking this Ammonite city as they should. You understand? Right. Keep going.
Verse 30. And he took their king's crown from off his head, the weight whereof was a talent of gold with the precious stones, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in a great abundance.
Sidebar, it's on topic, but what we're reading here is what is going to happen when Christ returns.
Right.
Christ is going to come and remove the crowns off of the leaders of this society, man. The people who are in charge now, Christ is going to remove them from their seats, remove their crown, which the crown symbolically represents power. That's what the crown is: authority, the staff is power. They all represent that. And Christ is going to remove those things, and now he's going to make them bring in their abundance to us in our kingdom. And this is what's happening right here. It's like, if I may, this is the Lord always intended. It's like, all right, watch.
So this is not a literal crown being removed.
No, this is literal right here. But I'm saying right here, they actually took this Ammonite king's head, his crown. You're going to read, they were slaughtering these Ammonites. You understand? This was literal. Like, take it off your head. That's why I said the weight of it is a talent of gold. But they took it off like, oh, this is a nice crown. You know what I'm saying? You don't need that. Go ahead, sis.
I had a quick question about what Joab was sent his message, and he said, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. What does he mean by that?
I'll have to find that out. Actually, sis. Verse 28.
28. Yeah, start at 26.
Verse 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 28.
20 at 26.
26, come. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city over waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name.
So it seemed like, I think he was saying like he's already there. We're gonna get more, but it seemed like he's getting David to send more soldiers, because if not, he's already working. So he'll be it's like it seems like if I was out building a school or something like that, and I don't give the glory to the Israelite school, the I.S.U.P.K, but I'll be like, no, this is the Kamaya school. It may seem like that, but I will be sure we'll ask and then get back to you. But it seemed like that. Okay. Like he's over there already conquering stuff. So Joab is the leader. He's the army. He can. It seemed like, okay, well, Joab did this. Well, this is his, but it's under David's kingdom. So he may want that kingdom to be set, or let them know that this is David's army, not Joab's army. You get what I'm saying? Well, we'll make sure we'll ask the question to make sure.
Okay. That's a good question too, sis.
Okay.
Verse 29. And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. And he took their king's crown from off their head, the weight whereof was a talent of gold with the precious stones, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city to great abundance.
So yeah, this was a literal crown. They took this off his head and put it on David's head. Like, yeah, this is a nice crown right here. We'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 31. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under harrows of iron, and under axes of iron, and made them pass through the brick kiln. Brick kiln.
Anybody know what a brick kiln is? It's like an oven.
Yes, right. Good kiln.
Oven. He was slaughtering these Ammonites. Like, if y'all killed 8 of ours, you got to pay for that, man.
Right.
When you hear General Muhammad say to him, we are not allowed to suffer losses in here. That's the spirit of the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? That has to be answered for. Just imagine, this is what we did to them over 8 brothers. Now imagine what Christ is going to do to America for the countless numbers of our people who were slaughtered. Like, this was righteous what they're doing right here. This is righteous. And imagine what Christ is going to do for how many years of suffering we've had, man. God is going to destroy this place.
So is it like they weighed them down with something heavy and then passed them through an oven? Like,
it just gave them the different ways how they was dealing with them. So some of them they put underneath the saw, like it was chopping their heads off. So like, you know, so some of them, you know what I'm saying, they was putting them through the fire, burning them. Like, they took over this city. Like, they took the city over. That was that. Like, it was absolutely righteous.
Right.
And this is scary for Christians because they're like, what? The Israelites did this? This is what the Lord wants, man. The Lord is a man of war.
That's right.
And he wants his children to be over these heathens, man.
Right.
Look what they do when they're in charge. Look what they do when they have a little bit of power.
Right.
They oppress our people, man. And that's what Christ is going to do. Christ is going to do much worse than this right here. And I pray for that day every day. You understand? Keep reading.
And thus did he unto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. Chapter 13, verse 1.
So like, yeah, that's what it seemed like, sis. Because it says, and Joab, in verse 26, and Joab fought against Rabbah, the children of Israel. So it seemed like he was either by himself or with a small group. And he's asking King David to send more people, or it's going to seem, or I'm damn near going to do all this work by myself. I'm going to, like, if you don't send more people, I'm just going to finish and I'm just going to conquer this whole city by myself.
So it's possible that, is it like it's possible that people, like other brothers have been able to do that and like take a city and put it.
And small numbers come because the Lord was with them. It's just like if it seems like if you was cooking for, and if you was cooking at a cookout, if it was you by yourself or you and like 2 other sisters, and then you may ask like, you know, please send more sisters, or you know, when we say the water to the sisters, we'll say the water to God. That's it. We just say, we just give we just praise you, and that's it. Because you don't want to cook the food for the cookout.
Right.
That's what it seemed like.
Right. Most side Christ.
Yeah, you keep
Chapter 13, verse 1. So it's like 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister, whose name was Tamar, and Ammon, the son of David, loved her.
We're reading about right here, now we're reading about the punishments that the Lord put in David's house. The sword will never depart from your house with desire for his own flesh and blood, man. Like, this is sick. This is absolutely sick right here, man. Right. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 3. But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man.
That's it. Up here only, imagine, which means to stand. Barak, present yourself.
Barak ban Yahweh ban Yashalam.
Barak ban Yahweh ban Yashalam.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatham. Up here only, Yeshabim, which means to sit. We have 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 11. You're going to read it in Hebrew first.
13 verse 4.
It It's verse 4.
Oh, Thawad.
We had 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 4. Waya Amar, Lawa, Madawai, Atha, Kaka, Da, Bun, Hamalak, Babakar, Halawa'a, Thagayad, Laya, Waya Amar, Lawa, Amana 1, Thamar, Akathwath, Abashalom, Akaya, Anaya, Aha. Verse 5. Waya Amar, Lawa, Yahweh, Na'ab, Shakar, Al, Mashak Bakar, Wahatha Kala, Waba, Abayak, Lara, Awathka, Waya Salakia, Wamath, Tha, Ayawa, Thaba'a, Na'a, Thamar, Akawafia, Wathar, Barnaya, Lakam, Wa'ashatha, La'ayanaya, Habarya, Lama'ila, Ashar, Ara, Aha, Wa'akar, Thaya, Mayada, verse 6. Wayashakar, Amana 1, Wayathakar, Wayaba'a, Hamalak, Lara, Athawa, Waya Amar, Amana 1, Ar, Hamalak, Thaba, Wa'a, Na'a, Thamar, Akathya, Watha, Wath, Salaki, Watha, La Bara, La'ai, Yanya, Shatha, Ya, Laba, Bawath, Wa'a, Bara, Maya, Da'a, verse 7. Wayashalak, Davada, Al, Thamar, Habayatha, La'amar, Lakaya, Na'a, Bayath, Amana 1, Akayak, Wa'aishaya, Lawa, Habaraya, verse 8. Wathalak, Thamar, Bayath, Amana 1, Akaya, Wa'a, Shakar, Wathak, Habatazak, Watha, Lawasha, Watha, La Baba, La'ai Yun, La'ai Nawa, Watha Bashar, Halahab Wath, verse 9. With the cup of Hamash, with the Tazak, Lapanya Wa, Wayama, La'a Kawo, Waya Amar, Hamana 1, Hawatazaya, Awa, Kyle, Ayash, Ma'aya, Wayataza 1, Kyle, Ayash, Ma'aya, verse 10, Waya Amar, Amana 1, Al, Thamar, Habaya Aya, Habarya, Hakadar, Wa'abara, Nayadak, Wathak, Thamar, Halahab, Bawath, Ashar, Aishatha, Watha'aba, La'a, Mana 1, Akaya, Hakadara.
Most High Christ. Now we're going to read in English. We got 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 4.
The book of 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 4. And he said unto him, why art thou, being the son's king, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother's I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Verse 5. And Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand.
Let's check this out right here. So this right here is Amnon. He wants to sleep with his sister. He has a desire for his own sister. So he went to his cousin. If you read, it tell you that he went to Jonadab, who is Shimeah's son, David's brother. So that's his cousin. And this is a heavy point to understand too. Jeremiah say all the time, them cousins is the cause behind a lot of trouble in the black community. We all got cousins that get us, or used to get us in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Listen, stay away from the cousins, man. Because this cousin is telling this cat how to get his sister. Like, just imagine how wicked that is. Like, he ain't talking about a sister in the street, like a regular sister. He giving them counsel on how to get with his own sister. Like, come on, man. Stay away from them cousins, man. Watch out. Because this right here is the perfect example of what's going on. Like, his cousin led him astray, for sure. Keep reading.
Verse 6. So Amnon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Verse 7. Then David sent home Tamar, saying, go now to thy brother Amnon's house, and dress him meat. Verse 8. So Tamar went to her brother's Amnon's house, and he was laid down, and she took flour and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, and he refused to eat. And Amnon said, have out all men from me. And they went out every man from him.
So what's happening now is Amnon went through that plan that his cousin Jonadab said. So he was like, man, act like you sick, and then I request to have your sister come in and like take care of you. Like, if you're not wicked, it's normal. You know what I'm saying? You sick, your sister take care of you. So David sent Tamar to go take care of Amnon. And so right now what's going on, she, helping them, cooking in front of him, making him everything he need. And then he told all the servants and the men, all right, y'all go ahead, step out for a second. You understand? And we about to read about this wicked Negro right here, man. Keep reading.
God, verse 10. And Amnon said unto Tamar, bring thee meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Amnon her brother.
Okay, both sides cross. Up here only, Amaji, which means to stand. Or why you present yourself?
Never mind, go ahead.
Okay, that's it.
Awawadia, Bungad, Bunyasha Allah.
Awawadia, Bungad, Bunyasha Allah.
Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabbat Rakatham.
Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabbat Rakatham. Up here only Yeshabi, which means the sick. We're going to read 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 11. We're going to read it in Hebrew first. Watagash, Al-Yawah, La'akal, Wayakazak, Baha, Waya Amal, Lahab, Bawa'aya, Shekabia, Amaya, Akawathia, verse 12. Watha Amal, Lawab, Al, Akaya, Al, Tha'ainanaya, Kaya, La'ab, Ya'isha, Khan, Bayasha Allah, Al, Tha'aisha, Ath, Hanabalha, Haza'ath, verse 13. Wa'anya, Anaha, Awalyaka, Ath, Karaptaya, Wa'atha, Thahaya, Ka'ad, Hanabayim, Bayasha'ala, Wa'itha, Dabar, Na'ah, Al, Hamalach, Kaya, La'ah, Yamana'aniya, Mamat, verse 14, Wala'ah, Abba, Lashamai, Bakwawala, Wayakazak, Mamana, Wayaina, Wayashika, Atha, verse 15, Wayashna'aha, Amanawan, Shana'aha, Gadawala, Ma'ad, Kaya, Gadawala, Hashana'aha, Ashar, Shana'aha, Ma'ahaba, Ashar, Ahaba, Waya Amal, Laha, Amanawan, Kwawamaya, Lakaya, verse 16, Watha Amal, Lawa, Al, Awadath, Haraiha, Hagada Wala, Hazaath, Ma'akarath, Ashar, Aishayath, Imaya, Lashalaknaya, Wala'ah, Abaha, Lashemai, Laha, verse 17, Wayak Ra'ah, Ath, Na'irawa, Masharathawa, Waya Amar, Shalakwa, Na'ah, Ath, Za'ath, Ma'alia, Hakawataza, Salami, Hakawataza, Wana'al, Hadalath, Akarya. We're going to read in English, 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 11 to 17.
2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 11. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister.
Now, the plan is coming to fruition. Now, when she brought him something to eat, because he faking like he's sick, he took hold of her and told her, "Come lay with me." You understand? This is what he's telling his sister, man. Well, just you can imagine the disgust and the fear and the many emotions that's running through this sister's head. Like what? What are you talking about? You read.
Come. And she answered him, Nay, my brother.
That's right.
Do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly?
This sister said, no such thing, this such thing should not be done in Israel. I mean, this sister knows this is disgusting. And not only is it disgusting, it's against the commandments, man. That's what she's saying. We don't do this in Israel. What they say to me with Black Panther, we don't do that here. That's what this is right here, man. This is absolutely disgusting and foul. And the sister understands that, and she's telling her brother, no, we're not doing this, man. You can't do this. Keep reading.
Verse 13, and I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel.
And sister saying what's going to happen if they do this, meaning she's saying whether she calls her shame to go, like meaning this is going to be absolutely shameful. Like, how can I get over this once this happens? If we do this, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is shameful. And she said, you'll be as one of the fools in Israel. Meaning, at that time, the word fool was a serious word to call somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's why in the scriptures, he called his brother Rakah, or say to his brother Rakah. You know what I'm saying? Like, call your brother fool. It's just like in the 70s. It sounds funny now, but in the 70s, you call somebody a jive turkey. That was fighting. He was fighting. Or, not too long ago, you call cat a punk. You know what I'm saying? That was when we came up. You call somebody, I'm not no punk. Yeah. Don't call me no punk, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And that fool was one of them words. You know what I'm saying? It meant something to be disgraceful. You know what I'm saying? And this is what the sister's saying. This is going to happen if we do this. Keep reading.
Come. Now therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee.
So the sister, she was wise. Like, she trying to find a way now to get this wicked Negro to like, okay, listen, okay, if you want me, just speak to the king. Who was the king? I'm asking, who was the king? It's their father. You know what I'm saying? So now she's trying to make it where she's, trying to spare some time or talk some sense into him or something. You know what I'm saying? The sister is doing what she has to do to not do this disgusting. She's like, listen, okay, if you want me, okay, go to the king and then he'll give you to me. You know what I'm saying? She know that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because that's disgusting. But she trying to, you know what I'm saying, stop him from doing this, man. Keep going.
Okay. Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her. He would not hearken unto her voice.
So right here, this cat Amnon, he not hearing none of that. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
But being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her.
So
Then,
where's you at?
verse 14.
Oh, okay. So like, keep reading.
Okay.
So right here, he being stronger than her, of course, he what they did is he raped his sister, man. He raped his own sister. This is what the Lord said. The sword will not depart from your house. Rape is violence, it's disgusting, and it's wrong, and it's a sin. You understand? This is what happened to David's own children. Just imagine you got 2 children, you find out your child raped or molested your other child. It's sad, and you be so sad to realize this happens in the black community all the time. R. Kelly, for perfect example. Everybody talking about R. Kelly was messing with the little girls, and nobody listened to his side of the story. Not saying his right, but nobody heard how he said his sister, his older sister, was molesting him and his brother, man. Like this happens in the black community too much, and it destroys our children. It destroys our people, and this should not be in Israel, man. You understand? It should not be in Israel. We should drive that out of here ASAP. You understand? Keep reading.
Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Amnon said unto her, Arise, be gone.
Listen, man. This is how demons work. You know what I'm saying? The demon possessed him, you know what I'm saying, and filled him and drove him to do something so wicked. And I can imagine, like, just after is, you know what I'm saying, you commit this heinous sin and the demon leave you, and then you mad at her because you too much of a coward to be mad at yourself. Now you looking at what you did, and he mad. It's like a brother go buy a prostitute, and now he finished, now he mad. He's like, get out. You know what I'm saying? Be gone. Catch an Uber. Brothers do it all the time, man.
Like the purple ones who shot the dude in the face.
Perfect example. Just like the purple sodomites, man. The fake Israelite group. When he slept with that tranny, he knew that was a man dressed as a woman. He knew that, but the demon wanted him to do it. And as soon as he got taken care of by this man, woman, this tranny, the demon left, and he realized, ew, I'm disgusting, and I hate you because I can't hate myself because it's me. But I hate you. And then he shot that tranny in the face.
There'd be a lot of brothers that struggle with homosexual, that got a homosexual demon, and they do that way. So that's where the term DL come from.
Right.
Like out in the open, they don't want to be a homosexual.
Right.
But at closed doors, they have homosexual men, but they won't. So that homo that they land down with will actually try to have a relationship, like try to hug and kiss, but he don't want to hug and kiss him. Like he'll you know, have sex behind,
right,
and everything is done. Don't hug me, don't
right,
kiss me. Get away from me. And he try to leave. Like,
yikes.
It's ridiculous because after he's done, he's like after he's had his climax,
right,
he's done. Like he knows that it's fucking flocky. He's known that it's disgusting.
Right. That's what I keep reading.
There is no cause. There is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou did unto me. But he would not hearken unto her.
Meaning, what is the sister saying right here? Which is so sad. What is the sister saying? Read again.
Oh, God. And she said unto him, There is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou did unto me. But he would not hearken unto her.
What is she saying? Anybody? She's saying, now remember, she was refusing. After this her own brother raped her, he was done. He said, now be gone. The sister's saying, like, damn, you're going to do this to me and then shoo me away. Like, this is why it's so disgusting and it's psychologically damaging for this to happen, because women naturally take on this. Remember, she said she was a virgin. So imagine, this sister ain't been with no man, and the first man she's with is her own brother. This is how you get sexual deviancies and different type of people having complexes later on in life, because the first time they be with somebody is in a wicked manner, in a deviant manner. The sister right here is like, yo, she feeling for the cat in a wicked way, but it's like that's what happens when you do this.
It might. She's not exactly feeling for
Right,
it, but she knows the law. The laws. If you lay down with a woman, then now that's your responsibility. Like that's your man. That's your wife. Like she like, damn, you broke the law. You forced me. You raped me, and then you're gonna send me away. Like you're supposed to keep me after that. Not that she wanted to be kept by him, but she knows the laws of the kingdom.
That's right.
She's like, you're gonna force me, and then now you're gonna send me away.
Right.
Like it's double, disgusting.
Right.
And evil.
So and she can't marry, right? Like after he did this to her.
So yeah, in her mind, because she knows the laws, it's like, okay, damn, like my brother laid with me. So in her mind, she probably I gotta be with him now.
Right.
Until the king finds out, or somebody finds out that's an authority, and then they'll make a judgment on it.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 17. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him and said, put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her.
This is what this cat did. This cat was utterly wicked. You know what I'm saying? He violated his sister, and then like the officer come here just said, he compounded sin upon sin. Like the scriptures say, sex is marriage. You understand? And this brother, it was disgusting. You understand? And to force his sister to do this, and then to treat her even like that. You know what I'm saying? This is everything about it was just off and wrong and evil and disgusting. And this type of behavior has to be eradicated from the black community because it destroys our people, man. You wonder why we on drugs and why we do the things we do when a lot of our people today experience this very thing. This very thing we read about, our people experience, and then don't talk about it and grow up with these things. You understand? That's why we have to fight so hard in UPK to get our people off of drugs, to get our people out of them churches, because that's what happens, man. But with that, we say Madra, which means a stand up here only. Use the first one. Hold up, come.
Slide, yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, like you can go home, sir. Yeah, so right hand. Right hand out, yeah. Face this way.
La Yashala.
So like too, also when he doesn't whine, he'll be able to rock. So like. So you can do it when you insert the water. Imagine, which means to stand. Walking YAHANNA, which means turn and face the east.
We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew first. Repeat after me. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazai, I.S.U.P.K, Kawah, Bashamayim, the thunder now, Lakam, Kai, Yawam, Wasalata now, Kabawaf now, Kasalat now, Wala'ah, Kabaya'ai now, Wanna say one. A ball. I was shy now. Mayan. Right. Kaya. Look up. I'm a lock. Waha'ala. Waha'ala. I will
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us of our debts.
Forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
into temptation.
But
deliver
us
from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
We're going to do the power. Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kushal, the thunder now, Hakak, La'Pa'ah, Ka'Makala, Ka'Madawa, Hakak, Latahal, Hamatazarite, Slagia, Hakak, Lahapia, Hamathia, Arakawa, Tama'al, Garashan, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Wa'Amad.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh. Please give us the power.
The
power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
We're going to do Psalms 121. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Aizari, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamar, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Mala'ah, Yayashan, Shalomar, Yasha'al, Yahweh, Shamar, Yahweh, Tazal, Al-Yah, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'ah, Yakarka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamar, Kalrad, Yashamar, Athapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wawa'ak, Ba'ifah, Wa'ayawulam,
in English. I lift my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? Help coming from Yahweh.
My help coming from Yahweh.
Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee. Will not slumber. Behold. He that keepeth Israel. Shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall smite thee by day. Nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee. From all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. And thy coming in. This time forth. Even forevermore. So be it.
We're going to do Psalms 83. Alahayim, Al-Damayalaka, Al-Dakarash, Al-Dashakwat, Al-Yahanna, Al-Yabyaka, Yahama Yawan, Umashanayaka, Nasha'au, Ra'ash, Al-Imaka, Ya'arayamwa, Sawad, Wayataya Al-Tazabawanyaka, Amaru, Lakawa, Wanakakina, Magalia, Wala'ah, Yazakal, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwa, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, Yakadwa, Al-Yaka, Baryat, Yakarathwa, Ahawya, Arawam, Wayashama'alia, Mawa'aba, Wahagaria, Gabal, Wa'anawam, Wa'analak, Palashat, Anyashabia, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nalawat, Imam, Hayawa, Labanya Lawak.
Labanya Lawak.
Salah.
Salah.
I.S.U.P.K.
I.S.U.P.K.
Kamadian. Kasaya Sarah.
Kasaya Sarah.
Kayabian.
Kayabian.
Banakar.
Banakar.
Koyashwan.
Koyashwan.
Nashamadwa.
Nashamadwa.
Bayanda Aura.
Bayanda Aura.
I.U.P.K.
I.U.P.K.
Daman.
Daman.
The Arma.
The Arma.
Shayatamwa.
Shayatamwa.
Nadayamawa.
Nayadawa.
Ka'ara.
Ka'ara.
Wakaza Abu.
Wakaza Abu.
Wakaza Bak.
Wakaza Bak.
Wakata Zamana.
Wakaza Zamana.
Ka'al Nasaya Kamwa.
Ka'al Nasaya Kamwa.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Nayarashad.
Nayarashad.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Na'awak.
Na'awak.
Alahayim.
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 Shayatamwa.
Shayatamwa.
Kagawala.
Kagawala.
Lakwash.
Lakwash.
Lapanya Rakab.
Lapanya Rakab.
Kaba Ira Yaira.
Kaba Ira Yaira.
Wakat Lahabab.
Wakala Haba.
Talahat.
Talahat.
Haryam.
Haryam.
Khan.
Khan.
Daradakma.
Daradakma.
Basa Irika.
Basa Irika.
Wabasa Wapathka.
Wabasa Wapathka.
Tabahalam.
Tabahalam.
Hala'ah.
Hala'ah.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Kwalawan.
Kwalawan.
Wayabakwashwa.
Wayabakwashwa.
Shimka.
Shimka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Wayabahawa.
Wayabahawa.
Ayda. Wayakaparwa.
Wayaparwa.
Wayabadwa.
Wayabadwa.
Wayadaiwa.
Wayadaiwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Atha. Shimka.
Shimka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Labadka.
Labadka.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Kalha-Rataza.
Al-Kalha-Rataza.
Aman.
Aman.
In English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee.
have lifted up the hand.
And have lifted up the hand.
Taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel.
Against thy people.
Against thy people.
They consulted against thy hidden ones.
They consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said.
They have said.
Come.
Come.
And let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
In the name of Israel.
In the name of Israel.
May be no more in remembrance.
May be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together.
With one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Gebal.
Gebal.
And Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher also was joined with them.
Asher also was joined with
They
them.
have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah.
Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
And Brook Kishon.
At the brook of Kishon.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
And like Zeed.
And like Zeed.
Yea.
Yea.
All their princes.
All their princes.
As Sabbath.
As Sabbath.
As Amunah.
And as Amunah.
Who said.
Who said.
Let us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves.
The houses of Yahweh possession.
The houses of Yahweh possession.
Oh my power.
Oh my power.
Make them like it will.
Make them like it will.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burns a wood.
And as the fire burns the wood.
And as the flame set of the mountains on fire.
And as the flame set the mountains on fire.
Persecute them.
So persecute
with
them.
thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid.
And make them afraid.
With thy storm.
With thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
Oh
O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
In trouble forever.
In trouble forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou.
That thou.
Whose name alone.
Whose name alone.
Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Are the most high.
Are the most high.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
Blessings. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Alawak Yahanna.
Alawak Yahanna.
Ha Alawak Yahanna.
Ha Alawak Yahanna.
Ha Saranya.
Ha Saranya.
Ha Kwata Zayamya.
Ha Kwata Zayamya.
Ha Kaya Yoya.
Ha Kaya Yoya.
Wa Ha Wafya.
Wa Ha Wafya.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Wa Hashem.
Wa Hashem.
Yahweh Shah.
Yahweh Shah.
The water Aman.
The water Aman.
Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Manager Rihanna.
Commander Rihanna.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
And name Yahweh Shah.
And then Yahweh Shah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
We're gonna cut it slow.
It's like,
We're gonna cut it for the
okay, come on, cut.
call.
So I was with the turn. Sisters, we have a seat. Men of Israel, gird up their loins and prepare to salute the Torah.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakiah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barak Yah.
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 Men of Israel will give one courteous salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Imadu Shabbat, I.S.U.P.K, Barak,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barak Yah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barak Yah.
Yasmatah, Saul, which means a turn. Sisters, go ahead and stand. Men of Israel will give one courteous salute to the sisters. Imadu Shabbat, I.S.U.P.K, Barak,
Yahweh Shema Shem Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shema Shem Yahweh Shai.
Yasmatah, dismissed.
Anybody gonna be anointed?
Concept.
I'm sorry.